Christian presence in the architecture of India was the topic, but we have now added on art also to that. Although Dr. Amaldas has given a particular aspect of the artworks in India, especially dealing with the Last Supper. Yes. Uh, the first picture. Now, one thing I would like to say is Christian art in India is has its Indianness, indigenous nature, and inculturation. Somebody who had studied, I think in Rome, a priest, he came to the church in Kerala and he bought from the handicrafts emporium a big bronze lamp. He put it in the middle of the church and he said, "We must Indianize." And he lit it. Then an old man was sitting in the corner. He said, "Father, why did you buy it from the handicrafts emporium? We have got half a dozen of these already upstairs." So this is the type of Indianization, because they don't know what this church is 100% Indianized. Whether it is the church in Kerala or the Tamil church for that matter, or the Goan church for that matter, the northeastern churches, they are all Indianized. Ranchi, for example. So anyway, the Indianness, the incultured nature of this. Here is an elephant. Every old church in Kerala, the beam is carried by 2 elephants. And coming from Trichur, naturally I must speak about the elephant. The Trichur Puram you must have heard about. Now, this elephant carries the beam. 2 elephants. One is a caparisoned elephant, the other is a simple, hard-working, timber-pulling elephant. So, I think, next. See the other elephant at the other end. And in the background, you will find the frescoes drawn in the church, but I have not given it in, elaborated it because that was not my topic at the beginning. So the frescoes, there are, must be about 3,000 square feet of frescoes in this church at Ullur. Frescoes. I'm not speaking of murals, mere mural paintings. Frescoes. But of course, they are in a damaged state. Somebody who wants to help us to recover the old ones in the Vatican, in the Sistine, they recovered it spending, I think, $16 billion or something like that. We don't recover that much, but somebody can help us to recover the paintings. Okay. Next. One aspect of all the churches, especially in Kerala, is that they are built at the highest point in the locality. The highest point in the locality. Except the seashore churches and the riverside churches. There, of course, it is just on the riverside because they were accessible. Because earlier times, roads were not there, only the rivers and other waterways. Therefore, the earliest churches are either by the side of the river or by the side of the sea. Accepting those, all the churches are built at the highest point in the location. I don't know, people, there might be from Kerala, like the church at Kuravalangar. You have to climb about 50, 60 steps to come to the church. Earlier it was only a slope, like Vadakunathan temple also, it was a slope. But now there are steps cut and so on. See again another church with the same steps and so on. Also, no, please go back. Go back. Also, you can look at the typical Kerala architectural style of every church with the gabled roofing, the 3-tier gabled roofing, the tallest for the sanctum sanctorum, the roof, the second aspiring towards heaven as in the Gothic architecture, and the nave having the second layer, and the Mukhamandapa or the portico having the third lowest roof. And you will see the steps leading up to the churches because they are at a very high, at the top of a hill more or less. Yes? I will go quickly to the pictures, that's all. Yeah, please. And one of the most interesting aspects of Kerala church architecture, I am coming to Goa and other places. Of course, there won't be time, I'm sure. You can read the paper. See, the open air rock cross. No other part of the world has open air rock crosses in front of the majority of churches. Of course, Spain, they have built a big one now, I know, and one or two in Brazil, but that's all copied from here. But these are the tall, not the only recent ones. These are 400 years, 500 years, 600 years old rock crosses. They are like the obelisks. The obelisks, mustn't be familiar with that. The obelisk is a ray of the sun, and the rock cross also is a ray of the sun. Why? Jesus at first was worshipped as Horus, the sun god in Egypt, the sun god. And that is why also the churches have the altar in the east. All the churches in Kerala have the altar in the east. And you are buried with the head towards the west, because as soon as you get up on the last day or the last second coming of Christ, Christ can be straight away seen coming from the east. You see that. And one thing also I would like to say, all the activities here are beginning from a lotus, I think, from a Nalinam or Nalini. Similarly, all the crosses originate from a lotus flower. You see the bottom of that cross, more or less in the middle, you see the cross, the lotus flower. What other Indianization do you want? Every cross is originating from a lotus flower. And there is a theology to the, Amaldas used to say Kerala doesn't have theology. There are some little bit of theology, but I am not going into, no, I'm sorry, not Amaldas, sorry, Amalor Bhavadas. That is, the brother of Lursam. Anyway, so see, and this is monolithic, that center portion is monolithic like the obelisk, four-sided tapering, this thing. And obelisk, you must have seen, most of you are traveled widely, in front of the Vatican Basilica itself, there is a obelisk. Only they put a cross afterwards on top to make it Christianize the obelisk. Because all these obelisks were stolen from Egypt. Romans are idiots, they don't know. Romans do not know. That is why how they write one line, two line, three line, four line, like primary school children. Instead of the Indians, they can write, suppose they have to write the number 1978, one whole page is required. C, M, like that it goes. And V, I, 8. Indians, very intelligent people, they make it 1978, 1 second. You see that? Because we discovered or invented the zero, so that the digits are there. That is why most of our students are getting zero in their answer books. And the pedestals are full of biblical images. I think so in Rome there are 12 obelisks standing, more than in Egypt today. All the Caesars used to bring obelisks. When Britain became powerful, they thought we should also imitate the Caesars of old. They brought two. One they put on the Thames embankment as you get down from the Parliament houses, Victoria embankment. It's called Cleopatra's Needle because it has the shape of a needle. Yes. And the other one they gave to their friends in the United States, which is put up in the Central Park there. And then Napoleon, not to be outdone by these fellows, he also brought, because Josephine wrote him, when you come back, bring me one of those little obelisks, she said. Anyway, he brought it. It is in the Plaza de la Concorde in Paris, if you want to see. Yes. Um, this is, I don't have a picture here because this is the picture of an obelisk in the Central Park. The Washington Monument is an obelisk. The shape is an obelisk. And this is the obelisk in the, on the Thames embankment. Yeah, okay. Yes. Okay, next. There are a lot of things to be said about the obelisk. I mean, about the open air rock crosses. And inside also we have got rock crosses. In the Kottayam church, we have got to, in other churches, Alangad, there is one, there are 6 of them. They are pre-7th century definitely. As a person interested in archaeology can say it's only pre-7th century. What he said is they are 1st century, brought 5 St. Thomas all the way from Egypt or whatever. See the rose, the lotus flower at the bottom of every single cross. Next. This is how it looks. You have got the open air rock cross in the architecture. You have got that flagstaff, typical flagstaff, originally copper covered, but now nobody covers it in copper because it will be stolen. So steel, stainless steel, plated like gold and so on. In front, so the flag hoisting is an important function in the church, very important function. Originally, the Buddhists were giving it a lot of importance. Yes, and that facade. Actually, original Kerala churches don't have facade, but because when the Portuguese came, they could not distinguish between the churches and the temples because the architecture was same. So they decided to build a facade to all the churches so that they can be sure that these are churches. Because Vasco da Gama, when he came first with all his friends, went to a temple, it is in my paper, and looking at the temple, inside the temple, he said, "This is Mother Mary." He prayed. And on the walls there were many saints, he prayed. But afterwards, he looked keenly at the wall paintings. He saw that the teeth were projecting 2-3 inches and the tongue was hanging out with blood oozing out. So he thought, if this is not the true God, I withdraw my prayer. Well, you read it. Next. See the facades. This is typical Portuguese type of facade at the top. And these crosses also are there, smaller ones. But the other ones are big crosses going up to 30 or even more feet. Yeah. See the biblical, this must have come later. Originally in Kerala, we did not have any image at all. After the Portuguese arrival, we started to have images like the crucifixion, the veneration of the cross at the bottom, then all sorts of angels, lots of angels without body. All these Western angels are having lot of body and colors and so on. But our angels, only 2 wings and a head. That's all. Because the angels are only spirits. They are not having body. Yes? And elephants again in rock here. You see the 4 elephants, Diggajas. In the 4 directions, you have got. Okay. Yes, go on. And the lampstand, rock lampstands in front of every church, and people pray, they light the lamps and so on in front of many churches. Go on. This is in the Chenganur church. And the pulpits, beautiful, best examples of wooden carving. Mainly the evangelists, also some saints on the pulpit. And the priest goes in the middle of the service upstairs into the pulpit. From there he speaks because there was no electricity, so no mic, no light. So priest cannot be seen or heard. So he had to go up and speak to the, yes. See the sculptures, wooden sculptures, mostly painted. Wooden sculptures, these are wooden reliefs, as you know. These are reliefs, painted. Yeah, see, this is the appearance of the pulpit. See, this is our own pulpit. It's 40 feet tall. Yes. Pushpa Kuda, it is called because it is in the shape of a flower with a stem. So it is called Pushpa flower. Cood. Oh, what happened? Okay. Okay, next. See the three-tier architecture, three levels of the roofing, you will find. Okay. And huge walls, because the church was a sanctuary. Even the king and all his soldiers cannot enter the church. So anybody in problem, they go inside the church and they are safe. So they had huge walls. The name of the wall is Elephant Wall, which means even elephants cannot destroy them. Also, they are like the side of the elephant, the rain will fall off. Yes? Okay. Okay. Because we are also talking about art. I think Father Amal Das and Gudron have not given sufficient importance to the Kerala art. They are 400, 500 years old. No, it's not a complaint. Gudron told me, it is because you have written these things and you have hundreds of pictures, so why should we also again do it? That was what she asked me. See the mural paintings. Some of these panels are 50 panels. All the story of the Bible is there. Because it's a smaller pictures, so I cannot explain them. Okay. There is another way. So those who are really interested, I will give a booklet. Some copies I have got in my box, so I will give them. This is about all the paintings, the mural paintings of Kerala. I give the moderator some copies which can be distributed. And I also give some copies of my book called Elephant. You cannot hear. Book called Elephant and the Christian. So some copies I am giving. Those also can be distributed. And here is this latest book which was released on the 10th of April, 3-4 days back at Pondicherry. I have got a few copies. Okay. So the mural paintings, you know how these paintings are made on the wall. The herbs are used. Stone is used for yellow and reddish color and so on. And the surface has to be made with great difficulty. I'm not going to give a class on how the mural paintings are done, but the churches have the largest number of mural paintings in Kerala and the biggest mural paintings in Kerala and some of the best done paintings in Kerala. So, but unfortunately this gets no publicity. First, because the Christians are not interested in their own art, their own heritage, their own traditions. They are more interested in, I don't know, starting schools, colleges, hospitals, or even other things, or running chitti companies, curry companies. So, I mean, I'm not blaming them. That is also necessary. Bread also is necessary. Yes. It's a bell for me. Okay, I said, when the moderator says stop, I will stop because I can go on talking for hours together, no difficulty at all. And I got still slides and in my pen drive I have 20 essays. So this is only half an essay we have finished. So it is all right. So, okay.
I think there will be people who want to ask questions. But just one thing that comes up to people who, like myself, is how old are these crosses? The granite crosses you said are 400-500 years old, but in your article I noticed that some went back to 400 AD.
Yeah, you see the inside crosses, which are called the Pahlavi crosses, or Persian crosses, or St. Thomas crosses. Inside the Kottayam church, there are two, as I said, Alangar there is one, Muttichira there is one, Kadamattam there is one, and St. Thomas Mount there is one. You must have seen on the up church, that is on the hill, Periyamalai church, what is it called? The big mount, that church there is one. These must be at least 7th century because it is the Pahlavi inscription is there. The Pahlavi is the royal Sassanid language that came to an end by about maybe 300 AD or something like that. So maybe 400, 500, still it could have been written. So that is one reason we say these are the oldest rock sculptures of Kerala. Rock sculptures in Kerala come much after. And the lotus first appears in Kerala on these churches, these crosses. And not only the lotus, but also the peacocks, two peacocks worshipping the cross. And something more I forget. Okay.
There's any question? One question? Yes. Yeah, please. This.
Yeah, it's just
And yes.
amazing to see how much research has gone into these various aspects of our Indian Christianity and culture. I'm full of appreciation. But one observation, we are supposed to be talking about the influence of the Bible on all these aspects. But what is coming across more is the influence of the Indian culture and other facets on Christian architecture or other things. So I'm just wondering if there is some communication gap somewhere. Of course, Father Amaldas did bring out some of it in his presentation this morning, but most of what we had yesterday was actually not coming from that angle of investigating the influence of the Bible on these various aspects. So I just wanted to raise this.
Vishal, yeah.
Yes, I know. But many of these things have a theological explanation. For example, this cross. The sun, Christ is the ray of the sun, and the obelisk is a ray of the sun, and this cross is a ray of the sun. This makes the lotus bloom. Lotus is called a pangajam, born out of mud. Sinful people, we are uplifted by the ray of sun. But there is no time for such theological discussions here, so I didn't know. Also, all these mural paintings are biblical, both Old Testament and New Testament. You can see the pictures. You can have a copy. Please give him one copy, please. So that you will see those pictures. They are all biblical. Then also, on the crosses, there are these sculptures. I showed only some, the crucifixion, the veneration of the cross, and so on. So, and another thing is, the people in Kerala, when they are asked why you are not having a theology, they say, our theology is the Christian life that we are leading, not some academic exercise done inside some institution, some air-conditioned institution. This is not our theology. Our theology is what we live. This is the answer often given by people in Kerala.
Vishal, you have a comment to make?
Yes. I think there is a lot of legitimacy to what Sudhakar has said. But as I review yesterday, I put it on my Facebook, that you have, let's say, glass with dirty water, and you're pouring clean water into it. For a while, what you still have is polluted water. But as you keep pouring clean water into it, all the dirty water goes out, and eventually the glass is filled with clean water. So what we are seeing here is, let's take the folk music or Bharatnatyam, that you have Indian cups. These are medias of art and architecture and music and dance. The biblical water is being poured into it. That's what we are seeing. And this is happening even before Vasco da Gama came. So this is very indigenous. The biblical water is being poured into existing forms of architecture and art and dance and drama. What difference will it eventually make is the little hint which Dr. Saxena gave us. That here you have the banks of Ganges, the holiest river, with thousands of sadhus and priests and millions of pilgrims. None of them is inspired to actually clean up those ghats. And Modiji recognizes it. Nobody is inspired. But as the biblical ideas are being poured, in Northeastern culture, even if those girls are not individually believers, they come in those boats in Banaras and they see that filth and they begin to clean. Here is biblical worldview being expressed, while the indigenous worldview, which has worshipped those huts, is not cleaning them up. So you're right that we need to go beyond to see what exactly is the Bible doing. So what happens when those people who used to dance in a particular way now begin to dance biblical songs, psalms? So what difference does that make? We've got to continue this dialogue, and right now we are stuck with 15, 20 minutes and 10 minutes of discussion, so we can't pursue that. But this is very important for us to view. Thank you.
But we finished now, but maybe you can ask him questions during the tea break. We've got 25 minutes for the tea break. But before the tea break, I just want to...
Can I put a short question?
Yes.
Professor Menachery, thank you very much for the presentation and also the mine of information. Can you ask you one question with regard to this architectural Pahlavi crosses?
Architectural?
Pahlavi crosses.
Architectural findings and including this Pahlavi crosses. So you mentioned about the Kerala, there are a number of places. How you come
I did not have time to go to Goa.
No, that's why I'm asking. This is a specific question. Have you come across this kind of architectural findings and also Pahlavi crosses in the other areas of India, if at all, of which period? Earliest.
As I said, there are 6 crosses, Pahlavi crosses in Kerala, one on the St. Thomas Mount, one is in that museum in Pilar. Father Joseph Cosme's museum in Pilar, there is one. They say that is also of the same period. But I have a slight hesitation to say that because there is a Portuguese inscription on that. Probably after getting the cross, they could give that inscription also. So, but that is also sometimes included in the list of Pahlavi crosses in India. These are the places. And in Orissa, Sagar, near Sagar, there is one place where there is a cross. And also, Gondapharas time, there is a cross in West India. I have given in the book one cross, which is in the same shape. It's a Greek cross. 4 sides are the same. And the four sides have a clover or sign, flower on the 4 sides. These are the main characteristics. There are other things, and often beginning from either a flower or a lotus flower, and sometimes having two peacocks. These are also Christian symbols, actually. In other countries also, some of these are Christian symbols. So these are the crosses which are, to the best of knowledge, existing in India.